It's Joshua Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And here we're taking a look at our award that we gave out at MWC 2016. Now, it does feel pretty sharp in the hand, and it's really hard to get a good grip around it, so you're not really going to be using one-handed. Just kidding, guys. Let's take a look at what products we gave the award to this year. We start off with the future of VR and 360 cameras, starting off with the Samsung Gear 360. Now, it came out alongside the Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge, and this is a camera that basically shoots 360-degree photos and videos. Now, the wide-angle lenses on opposite sides of this little sphere allow it to stitch together a full 360-degree image in just a few moments. There is a replaceable battery inside, as well as a micro SD card slot, and it is also splash and water resistant. The camera is supposed to interact seamlessly with the S7 lineup, and non-Samsung smartphone users can use the device with a PC application. The pictures that are taken are 30 megapixel shots, and the quality isn't that incredible, but this is the beginning of an easily accessible ecosystem for 360-degree shots. And for that, we give Samsung an award for putting together a nice looking peripheral that might be able to show us what the future will be of digital imaging. Speaking of the future, we bring our next award to Remix OS by Jide Technologies. Now, we've been covering them a little bit since CES 2016, and at MWC 2016, the announcement was for a beta release that Remix OS is able to get onto PCs. And since we saw it at CES, there have been a few big changes. Now you can install Remix OS on a computer's hard disk instead of having to use a USB drive, and the operating system has been given some extra optimizations. Now, the main reason why Remix OS makes our list is because it feels like a very original idea, and it actually is pretty well done. It brings Android multitasking to the next level, not only allowing you to use a recent app screen, but actually showing you all of the apps in real time running in conjunction with one another. Taking a look at this clip, you can see a video running while going onto social media networks. And the fact that this just might be the way that Android tablet computing should be going in the future gives us a good reason to give Jide Technologies and Remix OS a lot of recognition here at MWC 2016. Xiaomi is a company that's already known for low-cost, high-end smartphones, and they've taken the wraps off their latest device, the Mi 5. Combining a very low price and really great specifications, the Mi 5 was going to be a shoo-in for this particular list, and we were lucky enough to get a look at it and the Mi 5 Pro. Running down the specs, this phone actually has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 processor with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of onboard storage, and even a fingerprint sensor on the front of the device. A 16-megapixel Sony IMX298 sensor on the rear and a 4-megapixel sensor are up on the front. The Mi 5 Pro, which is the highest end of all these variants, comes with a ceramic back plate rather than just the glass that's found on the other models. Now, of course, with the software, we have the MIUI, and not everybody is always that down for the MIUI way of looking at Android. After all, it doesn't have an app drawer, but it is still one of the most updated and the most regularly updated versions of Android that is available out there. But really, the Mi 5 Pro and its price are what make us very excited about it. It costs just $360 without sales tax, or $410 as a direct conversion. Now, these prices might fluctuate a little bit, but it is still much more affordable than plenty of other flagships that have been coming out recently in the last year or two. Speaking of affordable but still high-end, we have Alcatel with the Idol 4S. Last year's Idol 3 was a great device and was very well received by pretty much everyone here at Android Authority, and two new smartphones were announced at MWC 2016, starting with the Idol 4, but we're giving the award to the Idol 4S. It has impressive specifications and is rumored to have a sub-$400 price point. Overall, however, this 5.5-inch Quad HD AMOLED display is a real bump up from the Idol 3, and it comes with a Snapdragon 652 processor and 3GB of RAM. 16 megapixels is in the rear camera with a 3000 mAh battery and plenty of onboard storage with micro SD expansion. But they have added in what is called the Boom Key feature. Now, the Boom Key is a physical button on the side of the device that allows users to perform different actions when the device is on various screens. So, for example, pressing the Boom Key in standby mode can launch the camera, or holding it down will immediately take a burst shot. It can also shuffle through photos in your gallery or add special effects to videos, and even allow you to do a cool parallax effect on the device's own home screen. As a follow-up to last year's wonderful offering by Alcatel, the Idol 4S looks like one of those phones you might be able to get for somebody in your life who doesn't necessarily need to have the best and the most expensive phones that are out there. But speaking of those high-end and generally more expensive phones, we can finally get into the heavy hitters of MWC, and we start with the Samsung Galaxy S7 lineup. In this particular case, we have the S7 and the S7 Edge. The S7 Edge is the larger of the two devices at 5.5 inches with its Quad HD display. We have the return of the two curves on the sides, allowing the screen to pretty much be flush with the very sides of the device. A Snapdragon 820 or an Exynos 8 series processor will be backed by 4GB of RAM, and this time around we finally have micro SD card expansion. And an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance makes this a pretty resilient phone. What we're really excited about, however, is the 3600 mAh battery in the S7 Edge and the 12 megapixel rear camera. Now 12 megapixels might sound like a bump down from the 16 that was in the S6, but it provides also larger by micron pixels that allow for even faster autofocus because phase detection autofocus is available in every pixel, and even then having larger pixels allows for better low light performance and better performance overall. We also have to give recognition to the original S7 because at 5.1 inches we also have the curves that are on the back of the devices, which makes it sit so much easier in the hands, and it definitely feels like one of the most pocketable high-end devices that are available out there. We have extensive coverage on the Galaxy S7 lineup, including a look at the app's Edge and the various Edge features, and even a color comparison available here at AndroidAuthority.com and the YouTube channel, so make sure you check them out so you can see why it got one of our awards of MWC 2016. But if updates to the previous devices are not what you're looking for and you're looking for some real leaps forward, you probably are going to be looking at the LG G5. It really surprised a lot of us, not only because of its stark departure from the G4 design, but also because of the features that not many other tech companies are doing overall. For starters, LG has managed to figure out how to make the removable battery have even more capabilities, as we have the modular design. On the bottom of the LG G5, you are able to press a small area that slides out the entire bottom panel, and there is the battery. Snap off the battery and you'll be able to put this battery into other modules that add even more capabilities to what is already a very powerful device. The Snapdragon 820 is what you get in the LG G5 with a 5.3-inch Quad HD LCD display with 4GB of RAM and expandable storage as well. So LG is still keeping to the two main features that they had last year that plenty did not have. Dual cameras on the back provide a great imaging experience with 16 and 8 megapixel cameras for taking very regular, or in the case of the 8 megapixel camera, much wider 135-degree shots. And it has a 2800 mAh removable battery which can be replaced quite easily, and you're going to be snapping that thing off if you are going to work with the modules. But then we have to give our last award to the LG Friends. These are the modules that are going to be used with the LG G5, and they are ultimately the trump card for what is considered in a way the underdog device of 2016 when compared to the Samsung Galaxy S7. The modular design of the LG G5 makes it incredibly expandable, and one of the videos and features that we had at AndroidAuthority.com is a look at the camera module itself. Now the camera module has manual controls, physical controls rather, for the camera, including a dial for zooming in and out of the viewfinder, and it even adds 1200 mAh more to the battery, showing what kind of expansion you could have on the LG G5. Now, if this is going to be the new way that we look at smartphones moving forward, we have to give a lot of credit to LG for making it come to the market before pretty much anybody else. More modules are going to be created, as we were able to look at even another one called the Hi-Fi Plus, which allows for the LG G5 to have a high quality DAC for those audiophiles out there who want even better audio from their device. And finally, the modular design is just simply one of the more innovative ideas we've seen in recent years, and we're happy to see it in the smartphone world, where LG at least believes that there is going to be some stagnation. It means that we have a great year moving ahead from us, and at MWC 2016, we just might have gotten our first look at what might be an incredible year for the future of tech. So keep it tuned to Android Authority for even more, and don't forget to check out all of the content that we have at Android Authority's YouTube channel and beyond in order to see for yourself all of the phones and devices that we gave the Best of MWC 2016 award to this year. Keep it tuned here for even more, because we are your source for all things MWC 2016, and of course, we are your source for all things Android.